Well, happy Friday. And it being a Friday, Joe Biden is on his way to his vacation home in Delaware. And actually, for the first time, I somehow feel better with this guy in Delaware than hanging around the White House. I don't know what his issue is. He's definitely got one. And maybe he needs the rest. I mean, who acts this way? This is his last trip to Portland yesterday.
You know, the last guy that had this job talked about infrastructure week. Every week he'd talk about infrastructure week. It didn't come for 4 years. Well, I gave you infrastructure decade. This is for 10 years. $1.4 trillion.
Joe's given us a lot of things. He hasn't given us any victories, all right? And the yelling, and oh, by the way, you could look at that. Look at that. He looks like some sort of mean, what is that, a chipmunk? Who does a speech like that, grasping onto the front of the podium? You can look at every president we've ever had. They've never had this kind of pose when they're giving a speech. They use their hands, they make a point, but they don't grasp it like it's some sort of a branch. Very, very strange. Joe made outlandish boasts that are, well, totally untrue.
When I got elected, I said, and I meant it, people weren't sure I really meant it, but I said, I want my administration to look like America. To look like America, and it does. There are more women in my administration than men. There are more women in positions of consequence. There are more African Americans judges that have been appointed than every other president combined has appointed.
Yay! It's false. Big time. Every other president combined. No, let's look at the facts, please. Black women appointed to the federal bench. He's done it 11 times. Other presidents, 62. All right? Well, 11 is a lot less than 62. But it's Joe Biden, and he can get away with this stuff. Or can he? Now, for some reason, he told this story about President Xi again.
I was with Xi Jinping. I've traveled with 17,000 miles with him and spent more time with any other world leader over a total of, I think, and we're up to 90-some hours of talking or meeting together over the last 7 years. And we were in the foothills of the Tibet. And he asked me, he said, I had a translator and he had a simultaneous translator. And he said, can you define America for me? This is a true story. He repeats it. I said, yeah, I can, in one word. And he looked at me. I said, what do you mean in one word? I said, possibilities. Anything's possible in America. Anything's possible. And that's what we're going to do today.
Is this supposed to be profound? It's not. All right. Hung around with President Xi. Can you imagine President Xi having to listen to Joe Biden for 90 hours? He has told the story so many times, too many times. My theory is, and this has been backed up by Miranda Devine and others who have watched President Biden closely, he's actually speaking to potential clients. Yeah, if you want to get close to the Chinese, go see Hunter, all right? Because nobody knows President Xi like me. Look, President Biden is barely holding on. This is the final thing I'll do on President Biden tonight. It is this inspiring? Is this leadership? He thinks it is.
And that's what we're going to do today. Do what we are capable of doing. Stop feeling sorry for ourselves. Get the hell up and take this country back in a way that we lead the world again, because we can do it. We're on the way to doing it. And with the help of your delegation, we're going to get it done. I mean it. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
He said, get the hell up. Easy there, pal. Get the hell up. What kind of rhetoric is this? This is not leadership. This is an angry, decrepit person who should not be in this office. We can all see it. Unfortunately, we do have a problem. This will not make it. We know that. Will Kamala Harris, we have to talk about Kamala again. You know, she had another high-level departure. This, the highest one yet. Her chief of staff quit after 15 months on the job. Tina Flournoy, she was a political heavyweight, had been around for a long time. This on top of all the other departures, I think about, a dozen or so. They can't stand working with her. She yells, she screams, she's unprepared. She blames everybody else for her problems. Now, who could have seen this one coming, huh? I mean, look, we've all seen her, right? She does not know how to behave in public. She's a very strange person in public. What is she like in private? And Joe Biden, what were you thinking, huh? If this were a job interview, the campaign, you pick somebody who mouthed off to you right to your face. Now, granted, she gave you a little bit of wiggle room.
I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden. I do not believe you are a racist.
So big of her, huh? Oh, yeah, wow. Here she goes. In for the kill, though, not next.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
I have supported the ERA from the very beginning when I ran for the
Vice President Biden, 30 seconds.
She wasn't ready to be vice president. She certainly isn't ready to be president. And we're hearing, by the way, that the chief of staff who left, she may have been on Kamala's side. You see, the Biden people, there's a faction there. There's all kinds of office politics. Imagine that. In politics, they know Kamala isn't ready. They want to get her ready, prepare her for possibly becoming president. She's not playing along. Kamala Harris doesn't want to sit through the tutorials, doesn't want to do the work. And Ms. Flournoy was protective of her. May have been pushed out because she was too loyal to Kamala Harris. Hey, who knows? Ever see House of Cards? It's a very strange environment. All right, moving on to, speaking of House of Cards, yeah, Kevin McCarthy. Republican, they say, from California, the House Republican leader. I've always had my doubts about him, but now, well, they're confirmed. I'm no fan of the New York Times at all, but some of their reporters have quite the audio clip of him saying that he was going to tell President Trump to resign. This is before January 20th of 2021, Inauguration Day, and after January 6th. Here he is on the phone with Liz Cheney.
Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Pence pardoning. Again, I mean, the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign. I mean, that would be my take, but I don't think he would take it, but I don't know.
My recommendation would be you should resign. You see that part right there? Oh, yeah. You should resign. What does he say will pass, by the way? He's talking about impeachment. He thinks impeachment will pass. Kevin McCarthy is a swamp snake. He's a career politician, and we don't like him, all right? He doesn't belong there. And in a moment of crisis, he wet his pants. Sorry. And he was outflanked by Liz Cheney, of all people.
I guess there's a question when we were talking about the 25th Amendment resolution. And you asked if what happens if it gets there after he's gone. Is there any chance? Are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
And he goes along with it. Now, we all know what we think of Liz Cheney, right? She's saying, will that happen? She's hopeful. And he says, I'm hoping too. I don't think he'll follow the advice, but that's the advice I'm going to give him. Wow. A real tough guy, huh? You know, did he ever have a talk with the Democrat leadership after the summer of Black Lives Matter? All right. All that stuff. And he says the president should resign after one riot that may have been facilitated by Democrats. Oh, by the way, when Nancy Pelosi got on her knee and Chuck Schumer, what did he do then? Did he have a special conference call and try to bring an end to this insanity? What has he done for Ashley Babbitt? Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed on Capitol Hill, and he hasn't said a word about it as far as I can tell. He's okay with this. I'm not okay with Kevin McCarthy. I'm not. I believe he needs to go. He'll never be speaker. He should never be speaker. Let's try somebody like Matt Gaetz, somebody with passion, somebody with conviction. What does this guy have? A career in politics. He's been doing it since he was 22 years old. Yeah, he got into the political game at 22. It's not what I did, probably not what you did. Hey, I know we need some people to do that, but we don't like those people. and they don't deserve our trust. Clearly, he doesn't. And I hope he hasn't fooled Donald Trump. You know, he went down there and he took that famous picture, and this was really good for Kevin McCarthy. I love Donald Trump. You know that. I love his policies. I love his style. But he does have a soft spot in his heart sometimes for people who apologize, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's got to get away from this guy fast.